5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off!
Good morning.
Good morning.
Live from the moon.
From the moon.
Welcome to our second Challenger Connection. I'm Commander Melissa.
And I'm Commander Jennifer.
And we are happy to be with you here today. And we're going to talk about the first moon landing.
Moon landing.
Do you remember what year that was, Commander Jennifer?
1969, before I was even born.
Which, Commander Jennifer is trying to say, was not before I was born. I was born in 1969, so I am 50 years old.
Yeah.
Because the moon landing was 50 years ago.
50 years ago, almost 51.
All right. So we're going to read a story called The First Moon Landing.
Yeah.
And if parents are watching, you might remember the little golden books.
Little golden books.
So this
Love
is a really
those.
good book with lots
It's a
of
good story.
information. All right. Are we ready?
We're ready. All right.
The First Moon Landing by Chip Lovett. On July 20th, 1969, two human beings walked on the moon for the very first time. It is an amazing story. The moon is our planet's closest neighbor in space. It is more than 238,000 miles away from Earth. Humans have always gazed up at the moon, and we have always had the same question: what's up there? Flying to the moon seemed impossible until the 1960s. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy made a promise. He said America would land astronauts on the moon and return them safely to Earth by 1970. This trailblazing moon mission would later be given the name Apollo 11. America's space agency is called NASA, which stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. NASA would first need a powerful rocket to send the astronauts into space. They built a 363-foot rocket called Saturn V. It was tall as a 36-story building. Saturn V would carry a second unit, a command module called Columbia. It was shaped like a gumdrop and had a cabin for the astronauts. It would fly high above the moon's surface while the astronauts did their moonwalk. The third spacecraft was a lunar lander named the Eagle. It looked like a giant insect. Eagle would drop down from the command module and land two astronauts on the moon. These astronauts were chosen for Apollo 11. Neil Armstrong, Edwin Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins were experienced test pilots. They had already flown many dangerous missions in some of America's fastest jets. On the morning of July 16, 1969, the countdown began. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smoke and flames burst from the bottom of the rocket. Blast off! Soon, Saturn V was high above Earth. Faster and faster it flew. 6,000 miles per hour, then 15,000 miles per hour. The rocket quickly reached a speed of more than 24,000 miles per hour. That's more than 6 miles a second. Once in space, Saturn V separated from the command module. Next, the command module separated from the lunar module. It turned around, then docked with the lunar module to join the hatches from the command module to the lunar module. Then the command module, Columbia, and the lunar module, Eagle, flew on towards the moon. After 3 days in space, the command module was finally in the right place above the moon. Armstrong and Aldrin got into their spacesuits, then climbed into the Eagle. Collins would stay in the command module, flying high above the moon. There is no air on the moon. It can be both freezing cold and really hot. The astronauts' spacesuits would give them air to breathe. The suits would also keep them warm if they got too cold, or cool them off if they got too hot. Too much perspiration could fog up their helmets, and the astronauts would have no way to clean them while wearing them. Their helmets also had radio gear for communicating with Collins and mission control. Armstrong and Aldrin gently guided Eagle down to the moon's surface. 6 hours later, Armstrong made history as he climbed down a ladder and stepped onto the powdery surface of the moon. Aldrin followed soon after, becoming the second person to walk on the moon. Armstrong sent this radio message back to Earth. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The astronauts filmed the moonwalk. More than 500 million people around the world watched it live on TV, thrilled to witness this amazing event. Armstrong and Aldrin raised an American flag and left a plaque on the moon's surface. The plaque reads, "Here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind." The astronauts spent nearly 22 hours on the moon. They took photos and collected 40 pounds of moon rocks. They also left something behind, the first human footprints on the moon. Soon, it was time to return to the command module. Aldrin and Armstrong fired up the Eagle's engines and blasted off. Hours later, they were back with Collins in the command module. Columbia was heading home. On July 24th, 1969, Columbia splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. The USS Hornet, a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, was there to pick up the astronauts. Thanks to the astronauts' discoveries, scientists learned many things from the Apollo 11 mission. They came to believe that the moon was once part of Earth until it broke off and flew into space long ago. Scientists also found evidence that the moon has moonquakes, just as Earth has earthquakes. The moon landing was a remarkable feat. Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins were America's newest heroes. Parades were held in their honor in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. There would be 5 more NASA missions during which American astronauts would walk on the moon. All of those brave astronauts followed in the footsteps of the amazing Apollo 11 crew.
Commander Melissa, whatever happened to those footprints on the moon?
Oh, they are still there, Commander Jennifer.
Still there.
So we want you to do a little research. We want you to find out why those footprints are still there, and we want you to put it in the comments section. Why are the footprints that all the astronauts, 12 astronauts, left on the moon? Put it in the comments section.
All right, so that's going to bring us to your challenge today. So today, we're not just talking about STEM, we're actually going to be talking about STEAM.
Oh, STEAM.
So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. Now we're adding an A, which stands for art. So we're bringing in the A for art for STEAM. So our challenge to you is we would like for you to design your own unique mission patch.
Like on our jackets.
Like we have on our jackets. And this particular patch here is actually that historic mission, Apollo 11. This is their mission patch. And one thing you'll notice about mission patches, they have a lot of symbolism in them. What does symbolism mean, Commander Melissa?
A picture that stands for something.
So standing for something else. So when you see that image, that picture, it's telling you about something else. So in this case, right in the middle, you see that beautiful bald eagle. What do you think the symbolism is for that?
The eagle has landed.
The eagle has landed.
The lunar lander landed.
And there in his talons, he's holding a branch.
I know what it is.
What is that?
It's an olive branch.
And what does that symbolize, you think?
Olive branches symbolize peace.
Symbolizing peace, so we are coming in peace. And you'll notice they have the name of their mission here, Apollo 11. But one thing that I noticed that's missing from this patch that you'll see in many of the other NASA patches, doesn't have the actual astronaut names on this one. And why do you think they left that off?
Well, the astronauts said that they were coming for all mankind, and so they didn't want to put their names on it because it wasn't just them, it was the entire world.
It was the entire world. And who is it that designs these patches?
The crew.
The actual crew. So you'll notice there are no 2 mission patches for NASA alike. They allow the astronauts themselves, or in the case when you don't have astronauts, not all crewed missions have astronauts. So even the engineers, maybe some of the scientists are able to design those mission patches. So this is the Apollo 11 one. And then another one that's pretty near and dear to our heart is the Challenger 51L crew mission patch. And many of you know we are started by the families of this Challenger crew. And one thing you'll notice about this is the actual shape of this patch. What does that remind you of, Commander Melissa?
It looks like a globe.
A globe. And the symbolism behind that is this was the first time NASA was sending someone into space that was a teacher. Her name was Krista McAuliffe. And you'll notice there's an apple there. That's another bit of symbolism. But she was a high school social studies teacher. So they made this in the shape of a globe to honor that.
I see something else there.
Oh.
It looks like a comet.
A comet. Why do you think they had a comet here?
Ah, do you know?
I do. They were actually going up this into satellite to Halley's Comet. So Halley's Comet was near the Earth back in 1986. So they wanted to study it. And then, of course, they've got their shuttle lifting off from the Earth. The American flag in the background, and then all the astronauts' last names are on here.
Lots of symbolism in that patch.
So one really fun thing that we do here at the center is we let our students that come here on missions design their own unique mission patches for those particular missions. So we've got a couple of them here that we wanted to show you that we really liked. So one thing you're going to notice about a lot of these patches, they have a pretty simple design. So the outline of them is pretty a simple design here. So this one's just a circle, and then you'll see a lot of symbolism in there. You've got the moon, a rocket, the American flag, the Earth, and then probably another one that we really like here, different shape, but instead of just including the astronauts' names, you'll notice they actually put pictures of each of their crewmates, their classmates. You'll see a boat down there. This particular patch was from Callaway County Middle School, so they're the Lakers, so they have the lake and they have their boat. And then they were going on a mission to Mars, so you'll see they've got Mars there. They also included their school name down there too. So what we would like for you to do, we want you to design your own unique mission patch. So first of all, you're going to figure out where you're going. So where would you go on your mission?
I would go to Pluto.
Pluto. So you would want to think about some things that you would want to have in here for symbolism for your particular patch. The first thing you want to come up with after you come up with where you're going is a shape. Something simple. You notice this is pretty simple. We've got some patches here that are just triangles or squares. You want a pretty simple shape. And then come up with all the symbolism. And then what do we want them to do with those patches?
We want you to take a picture of that patch, and we want you to upload it in the comments, because we are going to have a contest. Commander Jennifer and I and our camera woman, Miss Sarah, are going to choose the best patch.
Best patch.
And I bet we'll be able to get a little prize for them. What do you think?
I think
Yes,
so.
I think
And it doesn't have to be the best drawn patch.
Nope.
You may not be a good artist. We don't care about that. We just want to see your symbolism, some thought you have behind it. We don't want you to use your computer as far as drawing things
Like
on the
flip art,
computer.
yeah, things
If you want to look at some pictures for some inspiration, but we want you to draw this, color this, come up with your own patch.
And in the comments, you can also describe your symbolism.
Right.
Tell us what your patch is about.
Yeah. And if you were the first astronaut on Pluto, you could even write down here what you would say if you were the first astronaut to Pluto, just like Neil Armstrong in our book. We heard those famous words from him. So
I think I would say, it's been 10 years, I'm glad to be here.
There you go.
Because it would take a long time to get to Pluto.
Well, there you go.
All right, well, stay tuned for our next Challenger Connection, where we're going to do an exciting STEM activity. This is Commander Melissa.
And Commander Jennifer.
Over and out.